Hi everyone, it's Melanie. Today I'm gonna do a digital speed paint of a landscape I was sketching in the car a few days ago. I'm not gonna be playing piano over my voiceover today, so instead I made a bit of music in the background. I hope you enjoy it. I was listening to a song yesterday by Ahmad Jamal called I Love Music. Ahmad Jamal is a jazz pianist and he's pretty amazing, so I think you should go listen to the song. And I was having some thoughts that I wanted to talk about because I feel like many people have these thoughts, and I want to see if this can help you kind of work through them as they help me by talking about it. There's this word in the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is a pretty cool website where there's a bunch of definitions for weird, sad words, which are pretty cool. There's this word called Sonder, and I'll tell you the definition from the website. It's the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness. An epic story that continues invisibly around you like an anthill sprawling deep underground, with elaborate passageways to thousands of other lives you never knew existed, in which you might only appear once, as an extra sipping coffee in the background, as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, or as a lighted window at dusk. We often, either consciously or subconsciously, see ourselves as the main character of the world. We have our own strengths and weaknesses, and we are very, very unique in our own special ways. We all have our own little crazy antics that no one else knows about. And while most of this is true, it's more accurate to say, in my opinion, that we are the main characters of our own lives. When we recognize that everyone is just as complex and weird and scary and amazing as we are, life feels so much less lonely and more fun. I want to start practicing the Sonder mindset in my daily life. I know we're all guilty of having thoughts like, why is everyone in the world so boring and stupid, and why are all of my peers so aggressively normal, and geez, I'm just the weirdest person ever. And let me repeat, all of us are having those thoughts. And the reason why your peers at your school or your work seem so quote unquote average is because almost everyone is conforming to social norms, because that's what works for humanity. It's what keeps us forward when we work together, and in a way, social conformity is a way of working together. But in truth, each person who seems really normal in front of others has a weird side, and amazing and scary, and just a whole bunch of different sides that they don't show to others, either because they're scared to or they don't know how. Everyone conforms at least a little bit and acts like a generalized person when in front of other people. But like I said, I want to practice the Sonder mindset. Even if people seem boring or like they have nothing interesting about them, I know that if I look into them deep enough, I'll find that everyone is just as hectic and incredible as we all are. Let me give a very stereotypical example: the cheerleader. She's a ballet girl, she wears dresses and makeup, and she's always looking at her phone and always drinking Starbucks, and she's popular with everyone at school, but on the inside, she's deeply insecure about her appearance and loves watching anime, and she wants to be a neurobiologist when she grows up. Speaking of stereotypes, I wanted to talk about something called the negativity bias. Our brains evolved to focus on negativity. We are more sensitive to negative situations and actions, and this is what psychologists call the negativity bias. It's a very primitive part of our brain. For example, let's say you find a $5 bill on the ground and you dropped your ice cream worth $5. You'd focus on the ice cream rather than the $5 bill. If we reverse this scenario, like if someone gave you a free ice cream but you lost the $5 bill, you're more likely to focus on the money rather than the fact that you lost the ice cream. Here's another example. Think of a memory where you had a social interaction with someone outside of the people you talk to most. It can be any memory. Chances are it's an embarrassing memory, even if it's something that happened to you years ago. This negativity bias exists because it helped our ancestors survive in the past. If you pay special attention to negative aspects of the environment like dangerous predators and poisonous food, then those things are less likely to do harm to us since we pay attention to them. But negativity bias doesn't have a place in the modern world. Most of us no longer have to worry about whether or not there's a bear roaming our backyard or if our cornflakes are poisonous, but the bias remains. We make a big deal out of anything bad that happens to us, however harmless and minor it may be, and the news and social media are constantly being bombarded with terrifying issues happening in the world. Let's take things into perspective. Do you know how easy it is to make a list of the world's problems? Pandemic, climate change, discrimination, wars, health risks, political corruption, etc. What about some of the world's strengths? Like food, technology? It's a bit harder to think about, right? Here's some. Global poverty is falling. 87% of the global population has electricity, 90% is literate, and many infectious diseases such as malaria and tuberculosis are falling. There are good and bad parts, not just bad. Not just in the world, but in our own lives as well. It's important to acknowledge all the problems and try to find solutions, and it's important to enjoy the good parts. The thing with the cycle of good and bad is that it's a cycle. It never ends. There will always be problems and strengths as long as the universe exists. Maybe it's better not to think about things as good or bad, but just as events that happen that we could change or leave alone. It's our choice. I hope you enjoyed this little talk I did on Sonder and the negativity bias. And I hope you'll leave this video thinking about how you can change your outlook and perspective of other people and yourself and make the world a better place by just changing yourself. You are an amazing person and you deserve to have a nice cookie and have wonderful dreams tonight. Goodbye.